All right, friends, it's your boy, Mr. Shagney, coming at you with another lesson. Today, we're going to be looking at points on the coordinate plane. We're going to be taking our knowledge of what we've learned about negative numbers and expanding the number line to include negatives within the coordinate plane. The first activity we're going to look at today is called Guess My Line. In this activity, you're either going to make a horizontal line or a vertical line within the coordinate plane. You're to choose one, right? And on that lane, it asks us to draw 4 points that fall on that line. So I'm gonna put 4 points that fall on that line. I know my line's not straight, so I poured in that. And so I could put points over here as well. Then it's gonna ask me to label my points, right? So to remember to label, we start with the origin. So this is the origin where the two lines intersect, and then as you go this way, right, this is going to the right, so you always start this direction and then up. So to label this ordered pair, to make an ordered pair, we're going to go over to 11 and 9. Where those meet is your coordinate. It's like the location. So 11, 9 is the location of that. Your next coordinate on this line is 8, 9. Your next coordinate on this line is 6, 9. And my last coordinate is 4, 9. So once you have those labeled, then you're going to play the game of Battleship, where you don't want people to know. The first thing you tell them is if you have a vertical or horizontal line, then you take turns guessing coordinates to see if you hit the dot or the coordinate that people have marked, or if it falls on the line itself. So the whole point of this is that we need to notice if there's a pattern, right? So we need to look at these numbers and notice that all those numbers have the number 9 within them. And because all of them have the number 9 within them, we know that in a horizontal line, the y coordinate does not change, but the x coordinate does. In a vertical line, right, the y coordinate is going to change, but the x coordinate is going to stay the same. So you're only going to ever move over to 4 in this situation. So these are 4, 2, 4, 4. And that's what we need to understand. So we can find points on a line if we know that, we can find another point on a line if we know that the x coordinate is the same or the y coordinate is the same. We can realize that something's going to fall on that line, and that's good information to know. Another good thing about this is that anytime you're giving a coordinate plane like this, you need to go ahead and label x and y like that. Because this is always your x-axis and this is always your y. And a good way to remember that is like in the alphabet, x always comes before y, so you need to keep that in the back of your mind. So that's the first activity today. This second activity that we're going to do is called the coordinate plane. So I told you we're going to expand. So in that first activity, we just gave you this portion of the coordinate plane. And so now we're going to expand the coordinate plane to include negative numbers. And so since the beginning of this school year, we have talked about negative numbers and how number lines, what's on the right side is also on the left, and we know that those are opposite numbers and they're equal distance from 0. And so we're taking all that knowledge and now we're putting it into the perspective of the coordinate plane. So with that, right, we're going to look at the coordinate plane in this activity, and we're going to follow the directions to see if it makes sense. So it says, the first thing says, label each point on the coordinate plane with an ordered pair. Well, an ordered pair is a nice way of saying, you know, an x and a y value. So from the first activity, we plotted points, and in this activity, we're labeling those points themselves. So what that means is that we're just giving the actual labels. So for A, right, the ordered pair is going to be, I'm going to go over 3 and up 4. So that's 3, 4. For D, I'm going to go over 4 and down 2. So that's 4, -2. For C, I'm going to go to the left 5, that's -5, and down, that's -2. No, that's a mistake, -3. That's what happens when my brain is moving. So -5, -3, and then for B, it's -4, and +2. So with that, it says, what do you notice about the locations and ordered pairs of B, C, and D, and how are they different from those of point A? Well, I notice that all of these have a negative number except for A. So all, I'm going to change that out. So my thought process is B, C, and D all have a negative coordinate and A does not. Right? It says plot a point at -2, 5, label it E. So -2 means I go over to the left 2 and I go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Label that E. And then plot another point at 3, positive 3, -4.5. That should be about there. That's point F. All right? And then we're going to flip this over. It says the coordinate plane is divided into 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4, as shown here. And then it says, in which quadrant is G located? So looking at this, right, this is a coordinate plane still. A lot of you think it has to be boxed in, the lines have to be connected, it has to look a certain way. This still counts as a coordinate plane because all you've done here is taken 2 number lines and basically intersected them in the shape of a coordinate plane. So on your homework, best thing to do is to go ahead and make a coordinate plane that looks like this. It's the easiest way to do it. So 5, 2, I'm going to go over 5 to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up 2. So G is going to be located here. H, -1, -5. So starting here, -1, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. H is going to be somewhere right there. I is 7, and then -4, so somewhere right here. A point has a positive y coordinate. So if you're looking at this, positive numbers are anything above, right? So if this is my line, anything that's above this x-axis will be considered positive for y. So quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 have positive y coordinates. Quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 have positive y coordinates because when you go up, it's in a positive direction. All right, and the last thing that we're looking at today is we're looking at archery. So when you go out in the world, there's games such as darts, there's games such as archery, there's games such as tomahawk throwing that have been popping up around the world. And so this is, you can score some points based off of where you hit the dart, or your arrow hits the target, or the tomahawk hits the target. So you earn points based off that. So this is a real life example of the coordinate plane in action. So for this activity, we're going to be naming just a coordinate, name the coordinates for a possible landing point to score 6 points. So it's 6 points, I want to land somewhere in the blue. So -4, -4, -1.5 is a possible value. To score 10 points, that's yellow. So maybe -4, -4. To score 2 points, that is white, so somewhere around the outside. I could say -4, 1. That looks like it will fall right in there. No points means it's outside of this. It's like me when I'm trying to shoot at a target. My archery skills are pretty terrible. So 1, 1. 4 points. If we're looking for 4 points, we want green. And so -4, -1. And then 8 points would be red. So -4, -3. And so that's what we talked about in class today. We're going to continue on the using the coordinate plane, but we're going to take We're going to be adding shapes. We're going to be adding other concepts that you should know to kind of piece all this stuff together. So that was today's lesson. If you like this video, hit a quick subscribe, and I'll be back at you on Monday.